Welcome to Lead On. My name is Gayla Barlett, and as you know, we sit down with some community leaders doing wonderful things to help our nonprofits and our community on a daily basis. Today, I am very excited. I have a new face here for us from HAWC. We have Ashley Bermudez, who is HAWC's community educator and liaison. So, Ashley, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We're excited to have you. So first of all, for our viewers at home who don't know what HAWC is, if you could tell us what you do and the services that you offer.
Absolutely. So HAWC, that stands for Healing Abuse, Working for Change. We're located in Salem, Massachusetts, and we offer services to 23 cities of the North Shore, so from Sagas all the way to the Cape Ann, and we support and offer services to survivors of domestic violence. And we do that by different type of services. So we have community advocacy, we have an emergency shelter, we have a hotline that it's open all year, every day. We also have education and outreach, which is what I do for HAWC. And we have legal clinics, and all our services are free and confidential.
Which is great. And I think one of the biggest things for people to understand is how important HAWC is. That if you're trying to get out of an abuse situation, it's scary and
Absolutely.
you can't do it alone. So if you could tell me, when you go out and you educate people, where do you usually go? Are they sending you to schools, or where have you been recently to educate the public about HAWC?
Absolutely. So we try to reach different type of community partners and community members. So it can be it's very diverse where I go. So recently I did a training with the city of Salem for first responders. So we got to train the fire department and police department on some domestic violence best practices. I have gone to colleges to teach counselor students. I have also been in community fairs hosting a table where folks can come in and talk to me about it. If they have questions, they might have someone that might be struggling with something similar and they want to know how they can approach it. So really, any community member, any community partner, we like to reach, because we believe that even high schools, middle schools, we believe it's never too early to have an appropriate talk about the subject.
Right, and I know on your website, so the shelter is pretty much, if you can tell people how they get to go to the shelter, and what, if you could give us a Jane Doe story or a typical instance when the shelter is used.
Absolutely. So our shelter, it's very limited. We have 9 beds, 2 that are more transitional, and then the ones that are still short-term for folks to stay. But it has to be someone that is actively fleeing a very dangerous situation, domestic violence, due the bandwidth that we have. We only have, we wish we could house everyone that is fleeing a situation like this. But yeah, basically, when we have an opening and someone maybe calls the hotline because they're in a very dangerous situation and we're able to accommodate them, they'll come, and our shelter welcomes anyone that is going through a domestic violence situation, and they can access any of our services, the community advocacy, the child services, and yeah, so that's about it.
And I know the court advocacy piece is huge, seeing that most of these people have never walked in the path of getting a restraining order. So walking into that courthouse and being alone and not knowing how to fill out your paperwork, what you need to do, and knowing once you walk in that door that right to the right are the HAWC advocates who actually will walk you through everything.
Absolutely. Our legal advocates really do wonderful work. So anytime you go into one of the courts that we are in, which those are Salem, Peabody, Gloucester, Lynn, and I am missing one, but any times you walk and you ask for an HAWC advocate, they can walk you through filing an affidavit or a prevention order. They can be there to give you emotional support, because those hearings can be some of the most difficult things a survivor has to go through. So they're there to really walk them through the process of the criminal justice system. And they're not attorneys, so they cannot speak on behalf of the client, but they can be there to even hold a hand during those difficult times.
Because it is so scary. And
Absolutely.
when people think of HAWC, I know I grew up in Salem and going to Salem High. We were very, very well educated about HAWC, seeing it's in our hometown, that we knew exactly what HAWC was. And, you know, the counselors came in and talked to us about domestic abuse and all the different scenarios and what to look for. So when we talk about parent-child trauma recovery program, what does that look like? What is that?
That's a great question. So our parent-child recovery program is a program that we are in partnership with different clinicians, that they have to be a HAWC client, and they have to be referred by the advocate. And it's a program to help parents and children kind of heal through the trauma and violence that they might have witnessed. So it's an opportunity to children and parents heal with play therapy and different other resources that are offered through the clinicians and our children service manager.
Which is great.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I know, we at Kiwanis, the Danvers Kiwanis Club, we just recently made Easter basket type bags for the kids that were clients, because I know when they go into that office, and sometimes the mom or the parent will be with the caseworker, the kids need something to do. And I've noticed that the community outreach and everybody that continuously gives to HAWC on the daily is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, our offices, any type of donation when it comes to toiletries, basic needs items, feminine care items, when we have them at the office, we have spaces so clients can come in and kind of shop around and grab what they need. And we also try to give as much as we can. So we have the annual holiday drive where we call them the volunteer elves. And last year it was a big success, where our clients do a wish list, and then donors will choose a family, or will get assigned a family, and then we'll give some of the items from that wish list, which it's really special.
It's huge.
Yes.
And getting the parents educated. So I know you do advocacy, one-on-one advocacy. Can you tell us, I know to transition out of the shelter is a big step. It's getting them educated on how to take care of themselves and be independent once they're out of that abusive relationship. So what does that look like on the next step? So once we get them out of the shelter, where do they go next?
So it really depends. Every situation, something about survivorship is that every situation is going to be very different. No situation is the same. So it really depends of where they're at. If maybe our housing navigator was able to find a transitional home for them, or maybe something more permanent, such as rental, or maybe opportunity to buy, depending where they are in their situation. But they'll continue to have an advocate case management type service, where we'll meet them where they at, and whatever those needs are, we'll try to meet. Like I said, every situation is very different, so it really depends of where they are. We also have what we call psychoeducational support groups. So you hear about support groups where people sit down and talk through similar situations they all have been through. Our psychoeducation groups are more to educate folks on different things, whether it's how to recognize domestic abuse, because many people that are in these situations might not even recognize that what they're going through is that. Or it can be how to navigate the housing system, which can be complex and very difficult. Just to log in those websites, track your voucher, track where your application is. So these groups are meant to educate folks so they can be empowered to do their own decisions and navigate these difficult systems they have to navigate when they're in these situations.
That's wonderful. That's huge. So we have coming up the walk.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm excited. It's the 31st annual.
Yeah, the walk for HAWC, and it's also a run. I would like to add.
Oh yes, it's a run too. They added the running.
Yeah, last year we added a run, which is timed and everything. So anyone that might be training or is into running, more than welcome. So yeah, the walk is happening this year on Sunday, June 4th. It goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it starts at the Salem Common. It's a day that it's very uplifting. People are very happy. It's family friendly. There's different activities for kiddos, or there's a pet parade.
So cute.
We have very cute pets. And you don't have to run. You can walk, stroll through the historic streets of Salem. or you can cheer on people. And it's a day where community really gets together, not just Salem. It happens in Salem, but people from all 23 cities that we serve come and show up. We also have volunteers that help tremendously. And that day, it's quite fun. So we have different things going on. For the kids, we might have coloring books and activities that they can participate. And like I said, it's just a very uplifting, celebratory day to stand with survivors. And even survivors come, and it is just a really, really uplifting day.
It is. And Kelly's Roast Beef, I need to give them a plug, is a sponsor again. They have been the food sponsor for how many years? Because it seems like I've had Kelly's Roast Beef. I've been doing the walk, I think, for almost 11 years. It's been Kelly's. They're amazing.
More than I would know to tell
Right, they're
you.
amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And we also this year we have Atomic Roasted Coffee, which they will also be offering coffee, which that is great. Yeah,
it's exciting. And I know one of the things that I find the most, the most heartfelt is you're walking with the survivors, but you're also walking with families that have lost a loved one. And I think that's one of the really difficult pieces of the walk is that they'll have the shirts in memory of, and you can be walking alongside of a mother and a father, the boyfriend, the sisters, the siblings of someone they lost. And that is just so powerful and so emotional.
Absolutely.
And heartbreaking. And then I know before, and I could be saying this wrong, so I'm sure you'll correct me, is it the Clothesline Project that has the t-shirts hung up that they do with the memory of someone, that people decorate the shirts? Is that called the Clothesline Project?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm seeing the t-shirts in my head, and I'm like, I thought it was the Clothesline Project, because that's another thing they do that's really powerful as well.
If it's been there every year, it most likely is.
Right.
But yeah.
It's going to be great. And the fact that they added the Family Fun Festival, Pet Parade, you talked about that. I know our Danvers Kiwanis Club has had a walk team for several years now. And then they have, you can get your pictures there. The mayor's there. Sarah, the executive director, gets up and talks. And you always have the senators, the congressmen. Everyone who is anyone is always there, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it is like I told you before, I recently moved to Salem, and since I moved to Salem, whenever I have my lanyard from work that I'm in the community, at least once a day, someone will mention HAWC. My grandma volunteers for HAWC. Oh, we go to the walk every year. So it's a known event in the area. And something that's really special about this event, besides how fun it is and uplifting, it's a great opportunity to have appropriate age talks about domestic violence with families. So maybe it can be a young kid teaching them that their hands are not for hitting, that their hands are for loving. Or maybe is teaching a teenager about healthy dating relationships. And it's just the best opportunity because you have all this happening around you, and now you can open the door for those conversations that can be a bit difficult to have.
Absolutely, and especially nowadays that there is just so much, there's violence on TV, there's violence in the video games. I don't think you can go a day. I've yet to be able to go a day and not see something.
Absolutely.
And I know for the abuse survivors, it's triggering. So being in the crowds can trigger, the fear, and having HAWC advocates there to walk beside them and along with them in their journey is huge.
Absolutely. The entire staff shows up, and our volunteers, who are some of the ones who are answering those hotline calls, or legal advocates are in the court. So yeah, we try to make sure it feels like a safe, welcoming, happy space where we're celebrating the survivorship.
Right.
And yeah, we try our best to make sure it feels safe and comfortable for everyone.
Which is great. So you have your flyer, so we have to hold this up. So I notice this is not my dog on the flyer, but I won't be insulted here. So if you can see the cute dog, I know during COVID I bought my Patrick, he's a 78-pound love, his little HAWC bandana, and we did the walk virtually because that was during COVID. We had a virtual year. So you can see him. You can see the cute dog. There's a nice little QRL code here that you can scan to sign up. If you want to join a team, you can join a team. You can go ahead and sponsor a team. It's a lot of excitement.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the virtual.
Yeah.
This year, if you can't make it in person, joining virtually, it's also an option. So for folks that maybe are out of state but know someone that's related to HAWC, they can join. So we have that option. And as soon as you go in our website, which is HAWC, so HAWCDV, like domesticviolence.org, the first homepage will have everything about the walk, how to register, and if anyone wants to become a volunteer and give or help now in our website, you can also sign up to be a volunteer and help us out in that day.
And then you want to tell them what was announced today. Did you know what was announced today? If they sign up for a certain day, what they're in the raffle for?
Nope.
Did you know Red Sox tickets?
Red Sox tickets.
Red Sox tickets?
That's amazing.
I just came out of my daily e-blast from HAWC. I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure it said Red Sox tickets. So check it out, people. Make sure I'm right. But once you get on the list for HAWC, it's great because you get all the daily updates. And I noticed my team is not trending yet, people. So Danvers Kiwanis Sparkle Squad, if you would like to join our club's walk or donate to us, I'm just giving Danvers Kiwanis Sparkle Squad a shameless plug because I would love us to get up on the leaderboard. That leaderboard is so competitive for this walk.
People take it very seriously.
My goodness. We've yet to be on the leaderboard, people. Help me out here. We need Danvers Kiwanis Club to get up on the leaderboard there. So it's amazing how many clubs, how many different organizations, how many different friend groups. There's teenagers, there's college students. The outpouring of love that day is total synergy.
Absolutely. And whether the teams raise $10 or they raise $1,000, I cannot highlight how critical these funds are to do the work that we do. It's quite special. And like I say, even if it's $5, it all contributes to a big picture.
Which is huge.
Absolutely.
So do you have any idea what color the shirts are this year?
This year, I have a feeling they might be purple.
Oh, I was hoping we'd go back to purple.
But I have not seen the prototypes yet.
Oh, okay. So it's still on the down low, QT. We don't know.
But I saw some boxes with purple shirts, so I have a feeling it's purple.
I'm hoping it's purple. We had black last year, so I'm asking, can we have purple back? That's great. I have all my HAWC shirts from every year. I think they're wonderful to wear them out in the community, you know, spread the word about domestic violence and try to get people educated. And I would think that have you noticed that certain times of the year I know during COVID, one of the biggest concerns was that these people were stuck with their abusers. They couldn't get out of the house to get help.
Absolutely. So it's tricky to gauge that because it's always needed. It's something that doesn't stop. Doesn't matter the time of the year, the season, or how the weather is looking. So it is hard to point out those numbers, but yeah, it's all year long, and we're in high demand. Unfortunately, I always say, like, I wish that there wasn't a need for my job. So I'm highly privileged that I get to serve folks going through the situation. But yeah.
That's great. I'm just so thrilled that we got to meet you. It's always nice to meet a new smile, a new face from HAWC. That's great. I wish you luck. I'm glad you moved to Salem.
Thank
so
you.
You get to see the seasons in Salem, which is beautiful. And I know I will see you at the walk because everybody that works at HAWC or volunteers at HAWC is at the walk. It is the place to be. So it's a lot of fun, and it'll be a great event. So make sure you sign up on their website. Would you like to say it again?
It's HAWCDV.org. That's HAWCDV as domestic violence.org. And in the front page, you'll have all the information to register.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, I'd just like to thank you for joining us today on Lead On, where we got to meet another wonderful person from HAWC, Miss Ashley, who was fantastic. And we will be looking forward to seeing her on June 4th at the HAWC Walk. Make sure you join us next time, Danvers, as we meet some more community leaders doing amazing things for everyone in our communities. Thank you so much, and take care, everybody.